Alright, we're back on gaming, and I'll say this right now, I feel as though this week there was so much negativity, so many negative articles I've seen, so many stupid things that people had to say, and I figured since, we're really close to Christmas, I figured I would just, ignore that stuff this week. Let's just have some fun. I mean, we're still going to address some things due to the fact that, people are stupid and we address some things, but nothing really serious, you know what I mean? So just some lighthearted stuff, a lot of positive stuff this week. Because like I said, the stuff I've seen from these people, it's just negative, and it's just disgusting. It is. At some point, you gotta be like, you know what, I'm just going to walk away from this, especially since we're so close to Christmas, because let's be honest here, on Christmas Day, who the hell wants to be online still talking about this type of stuff? You want to be opening your presents, and you want to be playing your games and everything and having fun, you know what I mean? You really shouldn't see that many people online on Christmas anyway. I mean, you probably will see some just to say Merry Christmas or whatever, and to have some type of conversation with people that they can't reach in person, you know what I mean? And you may see some people who are online or on forums or whatever because, they probably need help in whatever game they're playing, So, I mean, I can understand that. But if you're online trying to troll people on Christmas of all things, there's something wrong with you. There really is. We saw it on Thanksgiving. There's some people, SJWs just walk around, if you don't like feminism, then fight me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, it's Thanksgiving. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't have no life? I'll say the same thing to them too on Christmas if they do it. Like, it's something that, look, let's just try and relax and have some fun. You know what I mean? Let's just do this, all right? And besides, I mean, like I said, I'm going to address some things anyway, but I guess we have to address this this whole narrative thing anyway. This one thing today, okay? So, a survey came out not too long ago. Men and women play games almost equally. That's right. The difference is that women don't like the gamer label. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute, okay? So, if people don't like the gamer label, that's fine, as far as I'm concerned. Because I put it like this. When we were playing games back in the day, there was no gamer label. If you played a video game, you just played video games. There was no label for us, who play video games. It wasn't until not too long ago they gave us the whole gamer thing. Okay, so I don't have a problem with that. That's number one. Number two, you can't force it on anyone. Because I see a lot of people saying, hey, well, no, you're a gamer. You play games, you're a gamer, and that's it. You just have to accept it. You can't force that label on anybody. You can't. If they don't like it, they don't like it. It's that simple, all right? Let's be honest here. I personally don't have a problem with it, all right? I've seen a lot of people say in the past, I don't even like to be, recognized as a gamer because of all the things that are happening in gaming. They feel as though it's embarrassing. And number three, I'll say, maybe there's some type of resentment towards it. Maybe there is. You never know. Maybe they don't like to be put in that box, And I thought as a community by now, we would have got to the point where we say, hey, we don't give a shit, if what you call us. Because we formed our own community. We didn't like what you did back in the day. So we formed our own community. And now you want to give us a label and everything. And we don't care what label it is. We're still going to love and play our video games. I've seen this different type of perspective all this week on the issue. And, you have people who are making fun of others because of it. You have others who say, I simply don't like it, because of all the things I've seen. And what I mean by that is they're not talking about feminism or sexism or any of that. No. This is beyond it. This is way before that. This is, the immaturity of gamers and how they've acted online and things of that nature. And we see it all the time on YouTube. We do. So, that could be one thing. I guess they feel as though it's embarrassing, so they don't want to be a part of that, I guess. But I've also put it like this. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And even though cake is made for you to eat, you have to understand that sometimes you have to, you're going to be guilty by association. You are. If a gamer does something stupid, they're going to say, oh, here come gamers again, blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. You know what I mean? So, it happens. Anyways, I want to say that this should kill the narrative, though, because if men and women are playing games almost equally, you know what I mean? And you can't scream anymore that, oh, I'm oppressed and blah, 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 blah. You can't do that anymore. You can't. Because let's be honest here. When you say that you're the oppressed, you're almost making it seem like you're the 1% who's being held down. And that's not the truth, all right? As you can see, like I said, and of course there's other studies that say different things, here and there, but in this study, they're saying you're pretty much on par. Men and women are pretty much on par playing games, meaning they share an equal type of gameplay. So no one's being oppressed here. No one's being misrepresented. There's a ton of female gamers out there. You know what I mean? So that's not it. You should, you want to get rid of all the women in gaming. It's all you keep hearing, and it's like, what? Where did you get this from? Like, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, it's one of those things where they just keep making up things, and they're just hoping that if they keep screaming it, you know what I mean, that somebody will listen. And you know there's someone stupid enough to listen. You know that. But like I said, this should kill the narrative automatically due to the fact of this study. I mean, because if we're almost having a 50-50 equal and, dare I say, relationship when it comes to the community between men and women, then what's the problem? We want more female protagonists. Well, if you look back at history's past, there's a lot of them. You just aren't playing the games. That's just what makes it feel like to me. You're just not playing the games. So whatever. I do want to move on, and I do want to talk about the behavior of things. Like I said, just talked about it not too long ago. I don't understand how this guy thinks. I don't know how he's going to win this. But for those who don't know, man sues Bethesda after 3-week Fallout 4 binge. Right? It results in a divorce with his wife. And he loses his job. So because these things are happening because he's been playing Fallout 4 the entire time, he wants to sue Bethesda now. Now, look. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta take some responsibility, man. We've talked about this time and time again. If you play games in moderation, everything's fine. Just like you do everything else in life in moderation. You're fine. But if you're sitting around playing for 3 weeks straight, and you're not going to work, and you're losing your wife, your job, your family, what's wrong with you? Put down the controller. Put it down. It's not that serious. It really isn't. Hell, you could, like I said, you could even come home after work and play for an hour or two or whatever, and then still spend time with your family or whatever. You've got to be kidding me. That you're sitting here and you're playing for 3 weeks straight, you're cutting out of work, work's fired you now, so you don't have any money. How you going to keep your electric on? So you can play your Fallout 4. How you going to do that? Your wife left you, so and then you get mad, and then you want to sue the company. That's wrong. Look, take some responsibility. We talked about this on Twitter not too long ago, about these guys who want to sit around and play video all day and beg people for money and beg their fans for money. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's time to grow up. Be an adult. Those games will be there. They're not going anywhere. They aren't. You bought the game. It's going to be there when you get home. Like, come on, man. It's horrible that something like this would happen. Because, like I said, at that point, it's an addiction. It's an addiction. And no, not all gamers have it. We know this. Like I said, a lot of us go to work and take care of family and all that type of stuff. A lot of us do that. You know what I mean? People have kids to take care of them, things of that nature. You know what I mean? But they still find time to play video games, do they not? This guy's sitting around for 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks, loses his job. Like I said, it's only a matter of time. He's trying to sue the company. It's only a matter of time before he gets to that point where he's getting like other YouTubers, like, oh, nope, donate to my Patreon while I'm playing this. I want to sit home all day as an adult. I want to sit home all day like a kid and play video. I just don't respect it. I don't. At all. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how reality works. And I know a lot of people like to say, well, you know what? This is the realm of gaming and it's made into this new genre and it is their job. I'm not trying to hear that shit. That's not a job. You cannot put that on a resume. Do you understand that? So if you lose your job, let's just say you lose your job, which means, let's say, your fan base decides, okay, you're not hot anymore. We're going to walk over to someone else, okay? We're going to walk over to somebody else. Or you decide to quit, but you still got to pay bills. And you've missed X amount of years in the workforce outside in reality. You can't put that on a resume. Once you decide to go down that route, you're pretty much locked into it. And that, you're screwed. You are. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, X amount of YouTubers have been successful. Yes, but it's very few and far between. Don't you understand that? It seems like people love to use big examples, but they don't understand how many have tried and failed. They don't understand that. Or at least they don't want to look at the numbers. Anyways, I feel it's very immature for this man to go and sue a company for making a game. Alright? And like I said, you got kids who don't even... The kids go to school, come home, play Fallout, then go out with their friends or do whatever. This man's sitting around, grown man sitting around playing for 3 weeks. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Let's move on. Speaking of more Bethesda, DRM-free PC Bethesda games are on sale right now, and you can save up to 75% off. That's right, just to let you know. Okay? Also, in more news, Pokken Tournament. That's right, we're going to move on to the fighters. Pokken Tournament gets its own special controller. Now, I'll put the link in the info bar. This controller looks really bland, should I say? It really does. It looks like an old PC controller, to be quite honest. But, I mean, it's getting its own special controller. I'm seeing people already complain. They're like, Nintendo, how many special controllers do we need? You know, you got one for Smash, you got one for your Pro Controller, you got it. You know what I mean? You got so many different controllers now, and you know that this is what Nintendo does. They've been doing it for a long time, trying to hit you with peripherals. We saw that during the regular Wii era, did we not? You know what I mean? Get this Wii back. Get this Wii hockey stick. Get this. They were just trying to get people with add-ons left and right. This is no different. It really isn't. Just go get yourself a Pro Controller, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? I don't think you need a special controller just for Pokken Tournament. I mean, let's be honest here anyway. You can button map on any, pretty much any controller that works on the Wii U, so you can set up to your liking. Doesn't matter, right? You don't need all these different controllers and weird controllers. I mean, unless you're a collector, then hey, that's fine, you know, but let's be honest. You really don't need it. Also, in more news, I need to talk about this right now because you guys brought this to my attention on Sunday. Street Fighter V. We need to talk about Street Fighter V in beta. Not because the beta is going bad or, you know, people are just, you know, not liking the game. No, that's not it at all. Apparently, we're seeing, you know, for these games, because as we know, competition, gaming is all about competition. Whether you're going against another, you know, human opponent or you're going against a computer to move forward in the game, it's always about competition. Well, apparently in Street Fighter V, people are starting to rage quit because there's too much competition. That's right. They're not winning games, so they're quitting in the middle of fights. Now look, we know that people rage quit all the time in fighting games. We know that, and we always say it's always wrong to do. However, when you're doing it in a beta, there's a problem, okay? Because you have to understand in a beta, people are learning the characters, all right? You already have a heads up on the rest of the community that's not getting the game ahead of time. You know, that hasn't pre-ordered or in beta, all right? The fact that you're rage quitting in beta says a lot. So, Rockaway Carter sent me a video when he was playing this person, and he rage quit in the middle of the game, so let's see that for what it is right now.
Final round. Fight!
Now, at first, when I saw the video, I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's just a disconnection. It could happen. You could lose connection. We've seen a lot of people throughout this beta process complain that, you know, there's a lot of disconnections during playing. People can't get into matches. We've seen that before. People are having problems connecting with others to get into matches. And then, you know, I'm thinking maybe try to give this player the benefit of the doubt. Rock puts up another video where it happens again. Yeah, that's a rage quit. Now, like I said before, you know, you already have the opportunity that others don't have right now to play this game. You think that you'd be making the most of it. Instead, you're quitting because you're not winning. You do understand in fighting, it seems like this needs to be said more and more as time goes on. Because it seems like I don't know if these are new people coming into the community or not, but you have to understand that you're going to take a lot of ass whippings before you get good. Alright? That's just how it is. You have to learn. You learn by losing. You can't just go into training mode and be like, oh, I'm the shit, blah, blah, blah. And then play story mode like, oh, I'm the shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to crank it up to its highest difficulty and still be great. That's not how it works. Once you go against a human opponent, it's a completely different aspect. So when you're playing a human opponent and they start to wash you, you know what you do? You learn from it. You analyze what's going on. You don't just be like, okay, I'm done. This guy's juggling me, blah, blah, blah. It's over. I'm done. You don't do that. You know what I mean? Like if it's amongst friends or people you know or something, and you can laugh about it, that's one thing. Alright? But if you're playing solely for competition and trying to get better, that's what it is. You're trying to get better. It's in a beta. In a stage where, you know, people don't know, you know, the characters fully, and you're quitting because you're not winning? That's just, no. Just if that's the case, if you're doing this already in beta, then I can only imagine how you're going to act when the full version comes out. When everyone who's like GoPro really gets at it. That's just wrong. It really is. Anyways, I want to move on. I want to talk about more Street Fighter V news, alright? Daigo donates Capcom Cup winnings to Evo Scholarship Fund, which is, if you ask, that's a very kind gesture. It is. I think that more people need to do that more often. I've done videos about this for years, about how, before they had the scholarships, how scholarships should be put up and things of that nature for fighting games, for this community. Because you got to think, a lot of these people who are in these tournaments, they're still kids. You know what I mean? They're kids playing. So, they have something to look forward to. Because like I said before, the reason that, now they're doing this, but I had said before they did, the scholarships, because this doesn't last forever. It doesn't. But to give them something like a scholarship to look forward to, that's great. You know what I mean? Like, that's something like, say, okay, I'm done, I can't play as an adult forever. We've seen when guys, they try to milk this forever when it comes to being an adult. We've seen that already, all right? But, I mean, like I say, it doesn't last forever. What do you have to fall back on? This way, you have a scholarship, you know what I mean? And these kids can learn something and make something of themselves. So I think it's a great thing to do. I think that Daigo has done a great thing as well. He deserves credit for it. So that's just how I feel about the thing. I said that years ago, though, didn't I? And people, when I said that, though, years ago, people jumped all over me about it. Now they have it, and everyone's cool. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving on, all right? Street Fighter V, more news. On Steam, OS announces Windows PC and Steam controller support. So, you guys and girls for Street Fighter V on Steam and Windows, you will be getting controller support. That's a good thing, all right? Also, I need to talk about the Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax Ignition. That's right. I had a chance to play it. Thank you, Bolt. I had a chance to play it. Still practicing with characters, trying to get a feel of who I like. And I tried Tatsuya, and it was alright. Tatsuya was alright. Felt as though, I don't know, for my playstyle, I felt he was a little limited. Then I went to basketball waifu, Tamaka, and not bad, you know what I mean? Worked with her a bit. I played story mode with her for a bit, but until I had to go, and then I had to stop. Wasn't bad. I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good right now with her. But after all this, I felt that as though, I think I'm going to try and run with Shizuo. Yeah, the bartender. I think I'm going to try and run with him. And see how I feel about it. I mean, given his moveset, I think that it kind of complements the way I play a bit more. So I'm going to try that probably after this video. I'll probably get on and try and run with him a bit and see how I feel about it. But I will say this: Shizuo was in the first fighting climax, and even though he was in the first fighting climax, I see a lot of people still upset about this. How he shouldn't be in the game. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if anyone's ever watched Durarara, you know that they talk, I believe in episode 1, the first thing they say is they mentioned the Dengeki Bunko, and it's like, it's amazing how you feel as though he shouldn't be in it. And granted, this is still going on. This is the second iteration of this game, and I'm still seeing on forums that, he's not strong enough, that he deserves to have, they feel he's watered down. He's been nerfed because of his strength in the anime. And I feel as though you can't have him but so strong, because then if you start putting all these buffs in with this character, and what you should know how it goes, when characters get A tier or S tier, people automatically want nerfs. Like I said, a great example, every time I talk A tier, S tier, is always Gordo from Under Night and Birth. Always. You know what I mean? Like the way they built him. And it's amazing how people are still saying that, you have one half saying it's always an extreme. You know that. It's he shouldn't be in the game, or he's been watered down enough. And I put it like this. I feel as though he should be in the game. He's deserved his spot in the game. But to say that he doesn't deserve it, have you even watched the anime? So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he deserves to be in the game. The guy throws refrigerators, street signs, and poles. I'm for that. I don't see why people would be upset about this, but I guess it is what it is. I'm going to try to run with him after this video and see how I feel about it. You know what I mean? I want to move on, though. I want to talk about some survival horror. Because we have some news for you survival horror game fans. A sci-fi horror game routine is still coming. Apparently this game has been delayed for a while, but new screenshots have shown that they are still in the works with it, and you should be looking forward to it, okay? Also, a multiplayer survival horror game, Depth. That's right, it's coming. And it says, don't mess with the shark. Pretty much this is like Deep Blue Sea. For anyone who saw the movie Deep Blue Sea, how ridiculous and over the top it was, that's what this game is apparently supposed to be like. But it's a multiplayer survival horror game. Pretty much, don't get caught by sharks, because sharks are going to eat you. It's that simple. So I'm looking forward to see how that's going to work on that game. So also, in Bandai Namco news. That's right, got some serious Bandai news. Julion Merceron joins Bandai Namco. For those who don't know, he's the man who, he oversaw the Fox engine. So he has signed on with Bandai Namco for their games. Also, Bandai Namco announces Gundam Extreme vs. Force for the USA. That's right, so we'll be getting that. Also, Bandai Namco is bringing classic arcade games to the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. Alright, but we already know how this goes. Namco Museum, Pac-Man, Dig Dug, things of that nature. You should know that's coming, alright? Also, gotta talk about EA. I'm not gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it this week. I'm not. Because, like I said, we're too close to Christmas. I'm not gonna say it. Let's just have fun. EA is working on a Star Wars RPG. So, EA, how'd the last RPG work out for you? I'm just wondering. How'd that work out for you? It didn't work out. It didn't work out. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Because your online was horrible, and we saw the glitches. I remember years ago I showed you the glitches where people would respawn, and they would be killed by the guns right there once they respawn the turrets, and they respawn again just to be shot again, they respawn again just to be shot again, and EA had no answer for it for a very long time, and people started walking away from the game. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this RPG, but you should have known they're going to go, full force, Star Wars, they're just going to run with it, you know that. And you know with this RPG, you know they're going to milk it, they're going to milk it to death. They are. But that's EA. You know how they do. Let's move on to some positive news. That's right. Now I know you see it in the header already. All right. The Dreamcast 2. Let's talk about this. That's right. Sega has said Dreamcast 2 Project Dream wants to answer PC gamers' wishes. That's right. So that's what they're focusing on, PC gamers. So let's look at a mock-up concept of what the Dreamcast 2 looks like. Now, everyone, understand that is not an official. It's not an official concept, all right? It's just a mock-up. We will see what happens. However, Sega is saying that this is reality, that this is what they're doing. They are gearing up for another console, and I know a lot of people saying, but it's still a rumor. They didn't say that yet. Look, they're thinking about it. Look, it's pretty strong. If you look at all the leads, it's pretty strong that Sega really wants to do this. I think that Sega, while they should be in development, I think they really need to do good by the fans at this point. Get your software titles together. And what I mean by that is make sure that the fans get what they want. You know what I mean? Before you decide to bring out this Dreamcast. Because if you get the fans back on your side, you know what's going to happen? They're going to go run to the Dreamcast. And everyone still said, the Dreamcast was great until what happened? Dreamcast could have been one of the greatest consoles of all time if it wasn't for the piracy issue. We know that. Okay? So as far as I'm concerned, I think the Dreamcast 2, it could lead to great things. I think Sega has, I really want to say Sega has learned from the last one. I want to say that. But given their situation when it comes to their games with Sonic and Shenmue and all these type of things, and Phantasy Star, I don't want to jump the gun too much and say they're learning, because, like I said, get everything back in a row for Sega. Then we'll talk about the Dreamcast 2. However, I'm sure for the rest of us, this is quite exciting. But we have more news about consoles. That's right. That's coming out 2016. For those who don't know, the Coleco. That's right. Now, for those who don't know, remember ColecoVision? Let's just say the ColecoVision back in the day. We used to have ColecoVision. The Intellivision? We had the Atari 2600. We had a number of games. This is before some people's time, but we had a chance as gamers to play them when we were kids, or we went back. When our cousins or parents had it, and then we played it then. You know what I mean? So you can always go back, and of course you can find ROMs for these games as well, and play them now. But we're now finding out that Coleco is making a comeback with a cartridge-based, system. That's right, they're coming back. It's going to be a completely retro system for retro games, for you retro gamers. That's right, so a console that takes cartridges, and it's going to be called the Coleco Chameleon. So let's look at the official. That's right, this is not a mock-up. This is what their concept design looks like. While I'm all for this, as long as they don't charge you up the ass for cartridges and things of that nature, I would have to ask, a number of questions need to be asked, and a number of details need to be revealed. We will find out more, of course, as time goes on. This comes out next year. Exactly what it can do. I mean, with our current technology, will you be able to stream with this thing? Things of that nature. It should, we have to find a way to get this, online. Because let's be honest, like I said, the way they have set things up with these companies, like I said, online, they want to keep you online. There's no more. Remember back in the day where you had to pack up your console and take it to a friend's house? I don't know if they're going to actually go that retro with it. I mean, it would be a pity if they had decided we're going to have all these classic retro games, but there's no way to stream it, or there's no way to play online, or you know what I mean, with other people. I mean, that's an intricate part right now of gaming. So as far as I'm concerned, even though I feel as though people should be in the arcade still playing, let's be honest, it is an integral part of gaming. I hope that Coleco can pull this out. You know what I mean? And because, like I said, I'll buy it. I will. You know, seriously, like, if this is something that they could do, I'm all for it. The more competition, I don't think consumers understand, gamers understand. The more competition there is out there, the better it is for us. Because then when competition gets high and they start going, that's when prices start to slash and people start to get creative because you need that competition. If one console is just dominating everyone, they get lazy. That's what happens. You know what I mean? So it's made, like, as far as I'm concerned, please bring out the Dreamcast 2. Please bring out the ColecoVision, the Wii U, or the NX. You got the Xbox One, you got the PS4, and then you got the PC. So you have all these games to stretch across. If anything, people should be excited every time a console comes out. Every time I see a console announced or whatever, we see people, man, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? And, like, they're not going to sell anyway, or I'm just diehard Sony, or I'm just diehard Microsoft, or whatever. I feel as though you're doing yourself a disservice that way. Because if you're a gamer, you're going to play games regardless what console it's on, or what platform it's on. It doesn't matter. You're going to find a way to play your games. That's how it goes. There's no loyalty amongst consoles. But for some reason, that's how it works these days. That's how they got you thinking. And it shouldn't. You know what I mean? I don't really think that the Coleco Chameleon is going to cost that much. It shouldn't. I mean, it's a retro gaming system. It shouldn't. You know, so, and the same thing with the Dreamcast. We'll see what it brings to the table. You know, I mean, I missed me some Choo Choo Rocket, to be quite honest. But we'll see what happens, you know? I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where if you bring out these games, and that's the thing, once these consoles die, we are seeing every time, or even when online service dies, these games fall apart, they disappear, and there has to be a way to preserve these games. There has to be, other than, I'm just going to turn back on my old keep my old console, because as you know, most gamers these days, they trade this stuff in. So, yeah, it's a problem. I think there's a lot of holes in our community and in the industry when it comes to purchasing consoles and purchasing games. And I think there should be a way, you know, to sit around and think about, you know, how can we preserve these things, keep these games online and things of that nature so that gamers can always have them at their disposal and keep playing. You have to think, this is not always about the newest, shiniest thing. It's about preserving the longevity of something that already is there and how great it can be. We see it all the time. This is why you see 1,000 iterations of a fighting game or whatever. It's like, no, preserve what you already have. Now that we have patches and updates for games and things of that nature that you can do, you know, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. But, of course, they've already abused that system because we've seen reports where people have admitted, you know, companies have admitted, you know, because of deadlines, they would put out game-breaking, you know, bugs, you know, glitches. They were in the game, and they wouldn't care until later, and they'll just patch it later. You know, we can't have that. We can't. You know what I mean? But this should bring more competition to the table. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't mind playing retro. Y'all know me. I'll play retro in a heartbeat. Speaking of retro, Dragon's Lair. Yeah. You know, every time that name comes up, I get a little salty because of the gameplay video I did on it. I still have to revisit Dragon's Lair. But for those who don't know, Dragon's Lair movie fundraiser has exceeded its goal. That's right. So you're getting the movie. It's coming. We will see what happens. I'll put it like this. In these days and times, I really hope that they do justice by Dragon's Lair and just stick to the core material and just do it the way they need to and not, you know, cave the pressure of a certain group and try to modernize it. I hate to see it modernized. I would stick to what it's going with and see what happens. Also, in some news, that's right, Sega. I shouldn't even say Sega. I shouldn't even put it in the Sega thing. I should say Sony, actually. Because Valkyria, Chronicles 4 is another PS4 exclusive. It's coming. That's right. So, here we go again. Also, Plex for PS4 and the Xbox One gets an update and is now free. That's right. For those who know, it's like a file managing service or whatever, but it's free now. So for you gamers, if you want to jump on that. Also, Super Mario Maker free DLC. That's right. Includes Koopa Clown card that shoots fireballs and more. Also, Super Mario Maker Bookmark is a web service that lets you search courses and tries them from from your computer or from your mobile device. So you can try courses just from that alone. Okay? Like I said, I'm just trying to give out positive news today, you know what I mean? Also, for those who don't know, Super Mario Maker scoops up the Amazon Game of the Year award. That's right. So, people, it goes to show you that with everything that's going on, this is all good news. Like I said, I purposely cut out all the bad news for this reason. And I want to get on this right now. I want to talk about some actually good news as well. A fundraiser has been set up for the Shadow of Mordor developer with a rare form of cancer. That's right. So that's going on right now. I just want to say I'm done with this for today. Like I said, I kind of figured this is going to be somewhat of a short video. Somewhat? But like I said, we got Christmas coming up in 2 days. Christmas, Boxing Day, whatever you celebrate, Merry Christmas, Boxing Day, whatever. I just want to say that you have to understand that even though we're all sitting around and we're all we're waiting for our presents to open them and things of that nature, just remember, on Christmas, there are people who don't have the opportunity to open up presents. There are people who are going hungry. There are people who don't have family. There are people who are sick, who are suffering from diseases, and who are fighting them every day. Understand that Christmas is not just about getting presents. It's not just about getting online and fighting with people and carrying on and you're a cheater and, trolling. You have to understand that some of these holidays, or say a lot of these holidays, are very, are how can I put it? It's a spotlight for certain people due to the fact that every day they suffer. So this is probably the one time a year, or especially 2 times a year, depending if they celebrate Thanksgiving or whatever, to actually, be human and have contact with others. So understand, while you're sitting around and you're arguing and you're fighting over, this game is good and this game is bad, and how dare you say this about this game, and I can't believe Event said something about the fighting game community once again, and blah, blah. Yeah. Understand that there are more important issues going on. I should, actually, this message should really be directed to the guy who wants to sue Bethesda. But, I mean, you've got to be kidding me that, we're seeing all these type of things. And when you see these type of things happening, all right, when you see these arguments and everything happening, this is, I guess, it could be a good example of why people don't like, being called a gamer. It's one of those things where I feel as though gamers in general, all of us, we've shown that we can be immature, but I feel as though we've also shown that we can, be very responsible at times. Not too long ago, it was Angela Hartnight, she had a food drive not too long ago, and gamers came together, donated money, and, they just took the food and clothes and stuff, and, over there towards people who were less fortunate, and if it wasn't for gamers coming together and doing that, on Twitter of all places, you know what I mean? If it was for gamers coming together and doing that, those poor unfortunate families wouldn't have anything. So, it goes to show you that gamers can do it. We've seen, like I said, Games Done Quick, right around the corner, in January. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel as though, and I had this talk with some other people from last week, when they actually thanked me for talking about Games Done Quick. You don't have to thank me for it at all. I mean, it's one of those things I feel it's a necessary, it's a necessity. I just get upset at times when I see gamers doing such positive things, and media are just like, it's not that big of a deal. You're still a shitlord, sexist, scum, whatever. Like, seriously, like, if you go to, let's just say, any type of breaking news, right, for gaming, you can Google it, or whatever. And what's the places that show up the most? Kotaku, Polygon, Vice, Forbes. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the big, I want to say, like, the big 5. The 6, Slate, the Salon. Like, it's all these places that spend so much time bagging on video games and gamers in the community. They spend so much time. And to me, it's like, you don't want to reward them, Destructoid, not like, they spend so much fucking time doing this. And it's like, you would think, because, for everyone that says they want games or gamers to grow up, you would think that you would do something positive. You would think that. But no, this is what they stay with. They stay with what creates drama, what creates divide, what creates backlash, because that's what gives them their clicks, that's what gives them their money. They don't give a damn about how positive gamers are being. They don't give a damn about, said gamer. Just not too long ago, like I said, gamer saved the man from from an accident. Like, no one wants to really talk about that. You'll see an article here or there, but it's not in mass. Let you say something about Anita Sarkeesian and bag on her. You know what they're going to do? Every site's going to piggyback off it and talk about it. Just not too long ago, they called her a journalist. Now she's a gaming journalist. Okay, whatever. If she's a journalist, I'm a journalist. Okay, like this is the things that we have to deal with now, and it's sad because, like I said, before it was us versus the media when it came to Jack Thompson and Fox News and all them. Now we're fighting within our ranks. We're fighting within the gaming media. So yeah, like I said, you don't see many positive things. You don't. But when you get a chance to talk positive stuff, you make sure that it's out there. You know what I mean? So that gamers see, not everything is doom and gloom. Not every day you have to come online and say, they talked about us again. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to do that every day. You shouldn't have to regret coming online just to see somebody bag on something that you love so much. You know what I mean? And granted, everyone's going to have their opinions. But when you have to blatantly lie about things, or you try and play the victim about things, like, that's pathetic. That's pathetic. It's like they don't have anything else better to do. You know? It's all money for them. And they stay paid, too, for this. Because people pay them to write these articles. Like, that's crazy. I don't know. I always say, it's just like I said, within all the madness, just remember, you're still human. Just remember, you still have friends on the outside. You still have family on the outside. You still, you know what I mean? There's still things that you can do on the outside. Everything you can do in moderation. But just remember, these holidays it's never really been about gaming. And we just saw not too long ago. Lizard Squad came out again and said that, you know, they're going to join the other group and they're going to try and shut down the servers. And Anonymous is like, oh no, we're not going to have that. Like, come on. There are far more better things to do on Christmas than shut down some servers. Then, like, come on. Like I said, I think at this point, people don't know what to do with the too much time they have on their hands. I think that's what it is. So, anyways, I hope that all of you have a great Christmas, Boxing Day, whatever. Spend time with you and your loved ones. Like I said, there are a lot of people who don't have loved ones. There's a lot of people who don't celebrate Christmas or whatever. There's a lot of people who don't have the luxury or opportunity to do what we have, do what we do and have what we have. And you have to remember that, okay? So before next time you decide to get online and get mad, or because I'm sure people, and I saw it last week, it was pretty funny when I saw it. So many people say, I'm going to thumb the shit down at this video, I'm going to dislike the shit out of this video. I'm thinking to myself, y'all don't have anything better to do. Nothing. Like, and you got to think, I've been doing this for years, so if you think some fucking dislikes are going to hurt me, that's crazy. But some of you have been at this for years. It's kind of pathetic. But whatever, it is what it is. If that's what you do, realize what you're doing is spending that time on. Understand that there are people out there who don't even have online. You know what I mean? There are people out there who don't even have a cell phone. There are people out there who don't even know where their next meal is coming from. You know, there's people strapped up in hospital beds because they don't know if they're going to make it the next day. Like, when you think about it like that, it's like, this shit is very minimal compared to that. It's sad. But this is what the holidays are for. You know, I just saw, yesterday, I saw two people it was a picture, two people had dressed up as Ultraman. That's right, Ultraman. They dressed up as Ultraman, and they went to a sick hospital to go surprise kids. You know what I mean? That takes a special type of individual to do that. It does. You know, it's just, things like that, to me, tell me that there's still good, there's still kindness in people. And there's always still hope in people. And like I said, and gamers have shown it time and time again. But, of course, you're never going to get the credit you deserve, which is kind of sad. It's like this never-ending struggle. It really is, because if you think about it, every time someone does something positive, so what? So what? That's what you get. Or it's the norm. They say, well, you should have done that. Like, no. Like, if Daigo didn't give away his winnings, to a scholarship, and he kept it, people were like, well, he's well within his right to keep it if he wants. They wouldn't have said anything. Whatever. He does it. The man's a saint. I don't. Like I said before, I feel as though it was a great thing for him to do. That makes him a great human being. I do. I really feel that way. I just wish that more people in the FGC would take that influence. Hopefully, it will rub off on them. You know what I mean? But instead, we still see guys charging people to learn how to play games. And all right, I'm done. It's just like I said. You have to be able to look at people and tell who's in your corner, who's a really good person, who is here for the community, and who's just an absolute fucking slime ball. You just, and just for themselves. Anyways, I'm done for the week. We'll get back onto the bad news next week. We will. Like I said, just want to make sure that everyone had a good, video and, somewhat positive video. So, I'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all be safe. Have fun. Enjoy your time. I know a lot of you kids are going to have fun playing your games, and, you got off for, after Christmas till New Year's, so enjoy that as well. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out. And spend time with your families.